Tables. All right, we are starting. Sorry, y'all. I'm so late. I am back from both Mexico and the Secret City. And ooh, y'all, I was out the last 2 days. You could like tell when you have seasons where you are operating off of pure delirium, excitement, and adrenaline, and maybe some caffeine. But I don't know how this past week didn't take me out. And literally when I think about my 20s and how all I did was like sleep for 4 hours and like crash on airport floors and take 6 a.m. red-eye flights. Whew, the body do not lie. And it is telling me to slow down. So where do I start? Okay, first and foremost, I'm back on my main camera. For those wondering, this is a Sony a7R III, very crisp quality, but I really appreciated the ease of just shooting on the iPhone. So don't be surprised if in the future I just shoot these on my iPhone and just upload directly, because I really appreciated how it cut out about, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes out of the process. It's really not too bad. All I do is take the SD card of the main camera and plug it into my computer, upload it, do the description and the cover photo. But here with the phone, I was just like, upload, and that was it. It just, I don't know, it felt so simple. Okay, let me get myself together. Where do I start? Today's gonna be about sacrifice. What you have to sacrifice to get to the next thing. A lot of times we see what's coming or we know what we want on the other side, but we're not in tune with what we have to sacrifice to get to that thing. And I might have touched on this a little bit in the past, but the reason it's so resonant in my mind now is because when we went to this next city, which I cannot wait, I can't wait to just finally reveal it. And I'm not trying to be like deliberately mysterious about it. It just, I want to be mindful of just enjoying. I just want to enjoy it, you know. It's so easy for people to project their experiences and their dislike for a place onto you. So I just want to stay in this place of pure excitement and joy for where we've decided, and then what God has also, I think, revealed to me is my next place. So, what I love is that it matched, the people and the energy matched what I'm looking for and what I'm needing in this next season. And Pastor Mike Todd, he had his final sermon on overflow. It was about because I said so. And it was called Because I Said So, which giving. And what I loved most is that at the very end, you got to watch the whole thing, because he usually has a prophetic word at the very end. But he was like, some of you have been in hiding, and some of you have been lions without a roar, and God is ready to restore some people's roars. And it hit me. Because again, I've been in this city hiding. It has been my oasis. It has been my safe haven. I have loved the comfort and convenience. And Pastor Mike Todd spoke directly to comfort. He was like, some of y'all are too comfortable. Some of y'all are doing just enough. And I just remember feeling like if I allowed previous versions of comfort to trap me, I wouldn't even experience this level of comfort. And this is not to say that you have to keep outgrowing every next version of yourself. It should be this steady climb. And I've been at this version of me for a good 5 years. Yeah, like this feels like the next season is ready. We know 7 is the number of completion, and 8 is new beginnings. So it almost feels like approaching that 7th year. Like, okay, so this is the 5th year. The year 6 will be all about transition and preparing for that next year. And then 7 will be the cycle of completion, closing the doors on probably a lot of programs, a lot of connections, friendships, relationships, things that are no longer serving me, and then opening up in year 8 for the new beginnings that are in store. So just giving myself like a nice runway for all that I'm ready to take off into. And I think one of the biggest things that I recognize is that in this next city, like we have this is a 180-degree floor to ceiling windows, and then the whole, what is this, north? Oof, okay. North. Where does the sun rise? The sun rises east to west. So if it rises that way, that's east. Yeah! So this is north. I love that I figured that out on my own. Google is right here. I could have just, but I did that on my own. Oh, that was great math. Northeast, south. Okay, so so our northeast and southeast walls are all window. And this one, it's also nice, but there's another residential building kind of nearby, and it only took once for me to see like an 80-year-old man's saggy balls coming out of a bathroom for me to literally block this window side forever. So I just got these bamboo sticks. I don't think they're in frame, but the bamboo sticks are from Amazon, and then I got this Home Depot wire frame, and then these synthetic plants, and I just like wire tapped it through the frame or the fence to make this little green plant wall. So anyways, I say all that to say there's a gorgeous like forest view that I've really appreciated the whole time I've been here. And I think I was subsequently in this next city searching for that same view, not realizing that, Glow, there's some things that you got to give up to get the next thing. And comfort is a lot of like loving and holding on to and clinging to a version of, I don't know, something that we just really enjoy and like. And if it means sacrificing the forest view to be more tapped into who I am, more connected with ministry, more aligned with my network, more involved in my community, then that's what it's gonna take, and I have to be okay with that. And granted, like, maybe it'll make me appreciate this forest view for the next few months that I'm still here in a way that I haven't appreciated it in the past. So it's beautiful and humbling that when there's an expiration date on something, that's when we actually grow to appreciate it. And imagine like we just all never died. Like, you know, afterlife, there's eternity, but imagine like there was no end date here on earth. Like we would all just like take everything for granted. We'd be so reckless. And yeah, like you think in the Bible, people lived 800 plus years and like even 1,000 plus years. And eventually God was like, nah, I need to cut this shorter because people aren't really using their years wisely. So it's almost like the limited number gives us gratitude for the present and perspective for the future. So I'm just sitting in the gratitude for what I've been able to appreciate and enjoy, and maybe even not enjoy and not appreciate. So yeah, just knowing that like, okay, I'm gonna lose this forest view, but I'm gonna gain, I don't know. I don't even know the view I'm gonna gain yet. So we visited the city and we visited 4 buildings. My goodness, it took us 6 hours to get through 4 tours. By the end of it, I have video of everything, but by the end of it, my brain was mush. I just, oof, if you are touring places, I mean, it's obvious, but take videos of everything because everything starts to blend in at the end and you're not gonna remember what amenity center and what pool belonged to what building. So all of our leasing agents and people were really nice, and even with like minor hiccups, everything went really well. And even the distance between the buildings was like manageable to where we weren't caught in traffic in between. So it just like worked out really, really well. There was something I was gonna say about, oh yeah. So initially we have been trying to manage this ourselves, doing research of buildings and finding the things that we wanted. We did end up visiting the penthouse that I originally was like, oh my gosh, like I know exactly where. And it is still like, I'm like, okay, it's beautiful. But it's interesting, the first 2 places were our top 2 choices. And then the second 2 were like backup. And it ended up being that the second 2 were actually our favorite. So you see something in person and it really changes your perspective of what you actually want and desire. And because we're going to be hosting a lot, where the amenity spaces are like really going to be a big plus for us. So it was, yeah, it was really, really interesting to just compare and contrast. So I feel a little bit like we're back to the drawing board. The original place, I'm like, because of some other things that you can't really see on the website, I'm no longer sold on it, but I'm keeping the faith alive because I know that something even better is in store. So yeah, so what we ended up doing is hiring an apartment locator, but what they do is essentially their services are free and they get paid by the building in the end when you sign the lease. So it's really a great service, and for anyone that's like wanting to move, highly recommend it. Apartment locators, obviously real estate agents, like they do great work, and I know that they do very tireless and sometimes thankless work. So yeah, if you find a good one, definitely take advantage of their resources, their skills, their contacts, because they're fighting for you just as much as you're fighting for what you want. So that's that. And in the end, Mexico, the wedding, Kevin and Melissa, it was incredible. I remember the first day, I was so sleep deprived, but we survived, and I got such good sleep that first night. And the actual wedding day event was wedding day, vow renewal event was so perfect. And I love that they did it on a Wednesday because it made it a full week experience. Like Monday through Friday was just like blocked for the event. And I was also amazed at how like relaxed they look. You could tell that they had either really planned this like to the T, or they had such support and help around them that they just didn't have to stress. And even like their social media, I was like, is someone posting for them? Because they're like never on their phones. They're so present, but all of their content is being uploaded and edited. So it was just really inspiring. I was like, oh, you can do both. Like, you don't have to be glued to your phone to get, the updates out to the masses. You could literally just hire people and have that taken care of and just, yeah, be able to really be present. So that was really, really inspiring. And I would say my favorite moment was probably during the evening. Both of their parents, I think, equally embarrassed them. It was just a reminder that don't matter what age you are, like you could be in your 40s and your parents will still embarrass the mess out of you. It was so funny. Like literally one of them had to get the mic taken away from them. You just never think that'll happen. Like you see those videos on YouTube, but you never think it's actually gonna happen to an event that you're attending. But they got the mic pulled. It was crazy. But overall, everyone's energy was incredible. Like everyone, just high vibes, good energy, just kind, thoughtful. And the dress code, like for women, or I guess everyone, you wear a shade of like rose. And so it was such you have these purple, crimson, lavender tones, just really, really gorgeous in like reality. Like you see these colors on literally flowers and I don't know, decor, but then you see it on people and you're like, wow, this shade and this like gradient is beautiful in reality. It's just, yeah. So that was that. I think that's it. What I'm gonna be really focusing on as it's July, which is second half of 2024, let's go. Like what? Oh, I have my whiteboard next to me and yeah, I just have so many ideas and so many things that I want to execute and plan and do and try, and I want to be really mindful of how I'm using my time. I think what's been a blessing is that in the last 2-3 years, maybe even 4, I've like really enjoyed spaciousness in my time. Like I tend to have a very spacious calendar. Maybe 2 days of the week are dedicated to coaching calls, and then the other 5 days are kind of like creating, ideating, brainstorming, admin, detail-oriented stuff. But overall, like there's not a sense of like panic or urgency. And I think if you grew up in a family of chaos or you're used to chaotic environments, that could also like take some getting used to. So I think it's been like a year that I'm finally settling into the idea that life and work doesn't have to be chaotic. But then now there's a part of me that kind of desires chaos and I'm like missing it a little bit. So I think I'm like trying to find a way to put more on my calendar to like stir up some chaos, but then trying to remind myself how much I've enjoyed the lack of chaos. So I'm a little chaotic right now, trying to figure out what makes the most sense for this next season. Transitioning, building out a runway, working on these next 6 months, knowing that I have probably, yeah, I don't even know if I could put weeks on it, maybe 8 weeks left in the US, and then the other 4 months traveling and between Europe, Africa, and Asia. So just being really intentional about like, how am I spending my time? How am I maintaining healthy habits? Being, mobile and not staying just on the couch all day. It could be very easy to do that. So yeah, that's that. I still have a couple social media posts I want to make from Mexico. We tried out some new marketing stuff for the Life Leap. We still have to edit it. So I'm just excited to try new stuff. I think one of the best things about being a creator or an entrepreneur of any sort is that you never have to get attached to one idea or one version of yourself. Like, you are allowed to reinvent yourself, reintroduce yourself, rebrand at any moment, and just create an identity that aligns with the season that you're in. So I feel like there's a new season brewing and I'm like ready to reintroduce myself, figuring out how and what to say. But I feel like people can already sense that it's coming. So that's been, nice. We're in a really good place in our relationship. I think, in those like weeks, months leading up to marriage, it's almost like fragile, because you're really saying, I'm committing to this person and this is going to be my forever. And, attending the vow renewal, everything that people do for marriage is based on the hope of the future. But a vow renewal of 20 years, mind you, is based on gratitude and reflection of the past. So like, everything about marriage is like hoping for something, and then the renewal is about like the actualization of what you hoped for. So yeah, it's very precious. And like I mentioned last week, seeing and being in a room of so many couples that have been together for a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades plus, like what that does to you and your belief system and love is powerful. And some of the posts that I even shared already, people said like, stop it because you're going to make me believe in love again. And I'm like, good, challenge accepted. I think it's 46% of US adults are single. And again, this is not to say that marriage is like the end goal for anybody, but just to show that like, in that 46%, like how many have really traumatic or traumatized versions of love or realities of love and have like written it off for a while. So yeah, there's so many people out there that there's still the potential to meet their match. And I hope not just when it comes to romantic love, but agape love and friendship, that some of your best friends you probably haven't even met yet. And that's really exciting to think about. Like, I want to believe that some of my lifelong friends, I haven't even met them yet. I don't even know where they live yet. Like, I want to continue to believe that and call that in, because yeah, life is so short, but it's long when you allow yourself to keep going and keep trying and keep failing, because yeah, it's humbling. Okay, I'm gonna get to work. I think. Happy Tuesday. I have no plans for the 4th of July. I really don't, I don't think I've ever done much on that day. Yeah, I'm not much of I haven't drank in 3 years now, 2.5. Yeah, wow, I need to count the days. But yeah, I don't really, like, I'm not big on going out and celebrating or going to a bar or anything like that. So I think it's just gonna be another day for me. I think I have a couple coaching calls, to be honest, on that day. So I'm not even taking it off of work or anything. But yeah, I will say it was really nice to have a week away. Last week I cleared my calendar. I had nothing booked pretty much. And just again, that spaciousness is really nice. That ability to be like, I'm gonna be gone for a week and I'm just gonna, fully live it up. And lean in and be present. It was just really, really nice. Okay, I think that's all I got. I am gonna gonna, what am I gonna do? There was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot. Anyways, I appreciate y'all's comments. I know some people are like watching like randomly, like maybe this is the first video you're seeing in this whole series, and you're like, so she just rambles for 20 minutes every week? Like, this is what I've opted into? Yes, that's exactly. Just to like recap, this experiment was for me. I started off kind of doing what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, what I'm feeling, or what I'm learning, what I'm doing, what I'm feeling, something like that. But I just wanted to find a way to be consistent again on YouTube. YouTube is a platform I've had for over a decade, but I haven't really used it to the extent that I know I'm capable of. None of this is meant to be like super high produced. I just wanted to build that consistency muscle. So after a year of doing this, which I'm halfway through, by next year, I will create a more dedicated format to how I want to run these vlogs, or how I want to run these weekly recaps. More themed, more coherent. But all of this is just like a practice run. Like I told myself, I'll do a year of 52 videos that'll just help me practice speaking on camera and uploading it as like a draft. No edits, no filters, just as is. And let that be my teacher. Let the process teach me. And just a reminder that no one out here is perfect, even the ones with large teams and, you know, super high branded and high level. Like everyone out here is just figuring things out as they go along. And everything that you put out there is a unique piece of art, and it's telling your story, and it's time stamping this moment in time. So what are you doing to put a timestamp in this moment of time? That is my invitation to you. I hope you have a beautiful week. I hope you create something fun, you do something new, and you push yourself to do something different in the next 6 months. I'll see y'all next week on Monday, I promise.